There's never been a better time to have Sirius XM. With even more exclusive content, with over 150 channels in your vehicle, including the widest, deepest variety of music, ad-free. Root for your team. Get news. Listen to whatever makes you laugh. And hear all about your favorite stars. Your Platinum Plan offer includes more than ever before to enjoy online, on your phone, or at home. Create your own ad-free personalized stations powered by Pandora. Hear ad-free extra channels filled with music and enjoy favorite shows with Sirius XM Video. Thousands of hours of shows and performances on demand. What you love is on now.
As we continue deep into the car audio sessions, of course, we've landed on yet another legacy brand. MTX means so much to so many, especially back in the day when they were rolling the SPL playground. Well, today we've got product experts, Rico, Felice, and Jason Planck in the studio with us today to go over the entire lineup and maybe give us some insight as to where the brand is headed for the next few years. This is CMA Connected, presented by Series XM, MTX, and it starts now. What's going on, everybody? And thanks for tuning in to another CMA Connected presented by SiriusXM. I'm your host, Ben Wu. And as promised, we are talking all about MTX today. That's right, MTX Audio, that brand that brought you Thunder and the Jackhammer series and all these iconic products throughout our car audio history. But first, let's go ahead and invite our Canadian distributor from Trends Electronics, their national sales manager, Mr. Grant McFadder.
Morning, sir. Hello, Grant. Another one ready to go.
Another one ready to go. This one is about a brand that, means a lot to a lot of people and checks off a lot of boxes. So out of the gate, Grant, why don't you help us set up MTX in the Trends catalog? What does it mean to you guys?
They're a very good partner with us. We've been with them for 3 years now, coming up on 3 years. And one of the brands that always respected, back in the day when I was Joe Consumer, I had Blue Thunder subwoofers in my car, and I remember seeing the red Terminator subs and everything like that at SPL shows and everything else. So it's a brand that, the legacy of the brand is amazing. It's been 40 plus years. And it's easy to forget, these guys that broke ground on this in this industry and put a lot of brands in play because of the work they did back in, the 80s and 90s and stuff like that, building the car audio products they have.
Yeah, and over the years, especially in the last 5 years, MTX is kind of re-emerging and kind of reinventing themselves in certain ways. They've seemed to really, dive deep into sports as we've covered before. And so, it's a full line, and like you said, it checks boxes for a lot of dealers.
Yeah, from the entry-level Terminator all the way up to their 75 series subwoofers and jackhammer amplifiers, there's about 85% of what every single dealer needs, and you can do it with one brand. It's crazy when you look through the catalog of how vast the brand is. If you factor in the marine, the power sports, and just the car audio stuff, it's a lot of product.
Which I think really comes into play for shops that are looking for go-to brands to lean on, that they can really attach themselves to, and that they can really have that relationship whereby, yeah, we're a shop, this is what we offer, and we got you covered in all these different categories. But hey, what do I know when we actually are privileged enough today to actually have direct from the studios over at MTX in Arizona? We've got both Mr. Rico Felice, who's the sales and marketing director, along with Jason Planck, who's the senior, both joining us in them to the studio. Hey guys, what's going on?
Hey guys, how's it going?
It's going great. We're deep into car audio talk, which I said many times, makes me giddy because of us anyhow, where we all started and got the bug, right, to get into this industry. And those are of us who are still lucky enough to be in it today. So really happy to have you on today, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. We wouldn't miss it for anything.
When we say legacy brand, Rico, MTX certainly comes to mind. And I think Grant was kind of speaking to that as well. It's a brand that means a lot to many, right? A lot of innovations, a lot of awards, a lot of successes. And as time's progressed, there has been somewhat of an evolution. And am I correct that there's been a resurgence of new energy, or maybe we move forward, because that's what it feels like to me. And I just wanted to hear from the horse's mouth.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. MTX is, as you point out, a legacy brand, has been around 40 plus years. And let's say a decade ago, the level of MTX that you saw within the marketplace wasn't as abundant. It didn't mean we weren't producing products. It just, we weren't in a position to really be marketing and pushing that brand out there like we used to. However, in probably the last 5 to 6 years, we have really turned the boat around. John Ivey, who now is kind of heading up the company, when he kind of took over the day-to-day operations from Lloyd, he has made it his mission to take MTX, the brand, and bring it back to the level it once had. In other words, he wants it to be the powerhouse that it always used to be. He plans on it being that way once again. And that means investing heavily in product development, obviously new product design, personnel. A big part of the market, obviously, that we've come back in is the power sports market, with Jason and his team developing all these new plug and play audio kits for that side. But that also has given us the advantage to kind of refine our development process to some degree. So now, as we turn sights more toward the 12 volt segment of our market, now that streamlined development process will actually help us to develop all the new 12 volt products that much faster, that much better, and obviously deliver to market that much quicker. So
yeah, I mean, that process we put into place.
Go ahead, Jason.
Sorry, go ahead. That process we put into play when we were starting the development on the kits for the power sports vehicles. But now that we've got it defined, we can move through these kits pretty quickly in development. With a little bit of tweaking, we can use that same quick development standard in 12 volt. And that's, I think, the direction we're going to be heading. I mean, it's making sense. We got to dial in a few more things and then turn the knob or pull the trigger, or however you want to say it.
I think one thing you'd be confident with the Mytech Corporation is they've got the bankroll to back up what they're planning on doing. I mean, they've been around for a long time. It's a very profitable company. And if you were betting money on someone that's going to bounce back in a big way, I think it's a pretty safe bet that MTX and the Mytech Corporation is going to be one to do it.
No doubt. And we already sense that, upward swing. But hey, we're here today. Let's not forget, there's still a huge catalog of great product to take advantage with, that's priced right, that performs well, and has the reliability, most important, I think. Though at this stage in the game, I'd like to hand the stage to Jason and Rico so we can go over the entire lineup. And we should mention, we've got a special guest waiting for us behind the scenes that we're going to get on after, get his story and what his MTX relationship is all about. So without further ado, Jason Planck and Rico Felice, you have the stage.
Awesome. All right. So as you know, as obviously has been said, the lineup of MTX is pretty all encompassing. Short of digital processors and head units, we pretty much have everything that most 12 volt dealers are looking for in a product line. Everything from the subwoofers, amplifiers, obviously coaxial speakers and component systems. And we have a variety of crossover components. As Ben and Grant alluded to, obviously we've been resurging in the off-road, the side-by-side market, but a lot of the components that work in that world also carry over and can work easily in the 12 volt. So probably where we want to start is obviously what we're probably one of the most known for is subs, which is over here on the Jason side. And what we've got currently on the table is one of our 7500 series as well as our S65 series square subs. And both of these are probably some of our most prominent subs that we currently have available to consumers and dealers right now. For example, the S65, yes, it's a square woofer. Why is it a square woofer? Well, as everybody knows, you can fit more square woofers than you can round woofers in the same amount of space. Bigger cone area than a standard 12 or 10. And some of the unique things about our S65 that's different than maybe other square woofers on the market is that we have actually created a perforated corner system in the surround that is patented. So it is a technology-driven woofer in its design, and it's designed to belt out very big bass. And Jason, you've used a lot of these woofers. So
it's one of my favorite in the line. I like it just because I think it, like we were talking about the product falling in the middle. I think this one falls in the middle. Right enclosure, you can get a ton of output in it, but you can also tune it to be a real sound quality driver. Yeah, it's definitely one of my favorite in the subcategory.
Yeah, and obviously we have 75 series, which is our currently our big power woofer, 750 watts for the big boys. And then of course we have, as we step through the line, we have a 55 series, which is a good, another midline woofer that complements the S65s in a round fashion. And then our entry level in the Thunder family, which is our 35 series, which we also offer the 35 series in a high quality shallow woofer, a slim mount woofer. The slim mount woofer is, I guess, in my opinion, compared to some of the other ones on the market, very, very unique in that it is, not only is it musical, it can produce a decent amount of bass
for a tiny enclosure,
for a very small footprint enclosure. So, it's one of those things that we talk shallow woofers. Obviously, it's usually sound quality or output, and usually you can't get both. A lot of times those shallow woofers are designed to work one way or the other. And the engineers have done a great job with our 35 series shallows that they are musical, they produce the bass, they don't take big enclosures, and they fit, the majority of small space situations that our dealers are definitely running into.
And another thing that to show their durability is the 35 series thin is the one we use in our off-road machines. So it's out in the elements all the time, put underwater, under the seat of a vehicle, outdoors. Also the same with the 10. The 1055 is also used in our UTV and power sports offering because we trust their durability. They'll handle it. They're really competent subwoofers.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that Grant obviously talked about a little bit at the beginning, and as well as we'll bring back up at the end, is the quality of the products, the build of the products. The woofers not going to say that you can't blow a woofer. I mean, if anybody has the capability, they're going to blow a woofer.
I know. It doesn't matter whose it is.
But in the right applications, used the right way, the return rate and the failure rate on our speakers is in tenths of a %. The quality of the build, the quality of the design, and the application process of these speakers are just unreal. So kind of carrying on from the woofer family, the next category we kind of roll into, of course, is the amplifiers. Now, currently we have two main categories of amplifiers. We have our Thunder family of amplifier, as well as our Jackhammer series of amplifiers. The Jackhammer being the newer ones, most recently coming into the family, but 3 years ago. So Thunder family of amps, tried and true design, workhorses, power horses. They produce the power. They obviously aren't going to have all the bells and whistles that we've, for example, added to the Jackhammer family, but it's a solid amplifier in a 4-channel, 2-channel, 4-channel monoblock.
Yeah. 2 monoblocks.
2 monoblocks, sorry. Part-timers kicked in, apologize. 2 monoblocks and a 4-channel amplifier, great for just about any sound system. And then, of course, we have the Jackhammer family of amplifiers, where we've got 3 monoblocks, a 4-channel, and a 5-channel amplifier. The great thing about the Jackhammers is they're versatile, they produce the power. You've got up to a 1,500 watt monoblock amplifier, which will produce obviously above and beyond that. All of the monoblock amplifiers, as well as the 5-channel amplifier, come with and included EBC or external bass control. They feature subsonic filters, variable crossovers. So these are very feature-rich amplifiers, as well as high-power producing amplifiers in themselves. Now you also notice there's a couple other amplifiers kind of tucked in here. As I said, we've got a lot of crossover products from our side-by-side business, our off-road business, one of which is here is in our Mud family of amplifiers. So we designed these amplifiers primarily for that off-road market to be able to withstand the elements, dust, water, moisture, abuse. But the beautiful thing is they're small, they're compact. There are a lot of times that you have a system that you want to build, but an amplifier of this size isn't going to fit in the location that you want. The Mud series amplifiers are great. They are very power efficient compared to what they produce. We've got 2 channels, a 4-channel, and a 600-watt monoblock that's 2 ohm stable. So that can easily be carried into a 12-volt application, especially, like I said, if you're trying to do a compact build as far as the system layout. And then we've got our newer kind of cosmetically redesigned Terminator amplifier that is part of our Terminator Party Pack.
Yep.
So you want to...
The Terminator Party Pack is, Grant, I think you sell them as the 2 subwoofers, either sealed or ported, that comes with the amplifier and everything you need. It's basically a one-stop shop for adding bass to your vehicle. Real clean look. This is something that we've had a lot of people ask us to expand this line, so we're toying with that idea. But one thing I also wanted to bring up about the amplifiers, like Rico was saying, is back to the Mud 600.1. We make a 500.1 Thunder amp and a 600.1 Power Sports amps, but there's nothing to say you can't put that in the trunk. So you don't have to categorize them. It's the thought of the way you're going to use it, not the application so much. But to be honest with you, that little guy does roughly 150 watts more than it's labeled as. That's a strong little amplifier.
Yeah, and again, application. So we've got a lot of guys that will utilize the Mud series amplifiers in Jeep installs. I've talked to some guys that are utilizing in motorcycles. So pretty much just about any 12-volt system that you're looking at that you need a small, compact, but high power output capable amplifier, the Mud series is a great option to look at. And again, just because it says it's Mud and we developed it on the side-by-side side of the family,
Still an amp.
it's still an amplifier. It's not restricted to that. And then additionally, kind of while we're kind of here in the middle of the table, a couple other things that are kind of crossover elements is source units. Now, obviously, we're not a head unit manufacturer. We stay out of that market because, we let the people that do it, and we don't do it. So, but on that same note, we do have some options. We have here our AWMC3 full function media receiver. So this is a radio. About a 4.5-inch square footprint on the face, fits in a 3-inch gauge hole. We've got obviously developed for the marine and the side-by-side market, but again, at the same time, this is a great unit if you're building a vehicle that doesn't necessarily have a spot for a radio, if you're wanting to put something in a more out-of-the-way location. We've got some guys that are doing classic car builds or other types where they don't necessarily want a radio or even a modern radio that's out and visible, but they want to put something in the glove compartment or something.
They want all the modern radio features.
Exactly.
They just don't want it sticking out of the dash of their 57 Chevy or whatever it is.
Exactly. So they can tuck this away. They still have the full functionality of a radio, USB input, it's expandable satellite radio. So you have, again, all those modern features that you want in a radio, but it's small, it's compact, and it can be hidden. Just beside that, we have our Mud BTRC, which is a small Bluetooth receiver. Classic car guys, for example, they want to have that original radio in the dash because it completes the actual look of the dash from the factory.
Right.
But they want to also have audio, but maybe the radio doesn't play, or maybe it's one of the old school, just AM, FM radios, and they want to be able to stream audio from their phone, maybe Spotify, Sirius XM, whatever it may be. So they will integrate a Mud BTRC into the system somewhere so they can pair their phone to it. It allows them to control volume up, down, tracks, and everything. And again, it's more of an application-specific kind of device in the 12-volt world, but it has its place. It's a solution that you may not think about. You may, as an installer, as a car audio shop, looking, hey, I've got this guy who wants a kind of a stealth system, or he's got a classic car that he doesn't want to impact the vintage look of the dash, but he wants modern audio. That's an option. Both of those are great options that you can certainly look at in that situation.
Again, that's where the mud amps come in. There's 4 of them in the family, ranging from one that's about the size of a deck of cards up to the biggest one there. So you use that Bluetooth piece, go into one of the small mud amplifiers. You can tuck it away in a classic car, and you'll have tunes really easy.
Yep, absolutely. So again, a lot of great solutions. You know, as car audio installers, as former installers ourselves, you know, a lot of the time when you're dealing with custom systems, I mean, we do a lot of, you're used to doing a lot of deck and 4 radios, simple amp installs, sub installs, things of this nature. But every once in a while, you get that customer that comes in and says, I want something a little special. I want something unique.
I don't want to see anything.
I don't want to see anything. So it kind of makes you put your thinking hat on. It's like, okay, what solutions are available? We have a variety of different solutions that may not be mainstream, but they work for a lot of different puzzles that you may run into. And then obviously, as we move down, completing out kind of the family of products, we have, of course, speakers. We have our Thunder family of speakers. We have a variety of different sizes, standard sizes that are direct fit to OEM locations, coaxial versions, as well as component speakers, 6.5, 5.25 inch component speakers with outboard crossover. Obviously, both of these systems are designed to be very musical, sound quality oriented. You know, they're not, you know, your super high echelon, but they're a great choice if you've got somebody who is looking for a great quality speaker that is willing to spend a little bit of money for it. You know, and
it doesn't want to break the bank.
They don't want to break the bank. Exactly. Right. So along with that, we've got our Terminator family of coaxial speakers, as well as Terminator component speakers. The great thing about the Terminator, it's a great step up over an OEM speaker. So if, again, customer comes into the to your location and says, I want to upgrade my speakers. I've got factory speakers. I've blown a factory speaker. I want something that's better quality, better sounding. The Terminator family of speakers are great direct replacement. They can work very well directly off deck or factory power. They certainly sound better if you can amplify them in some way, but they don't need huge amplifiers to make them produce the output level.
No, they're high sensitivity. And one thing for the installers is they're shallower than a lot of OEM replacement drivers. So that comes into play in today's newer cars with very little room in them.
Yeah, whenever you're limited on mounting depth and a door panel, anything of that nature. Plus the compatibility of the mounting frames with, again, the OEM mounting locations. There's a lot of versatility built into them. Again, they're designed to fit very well. Some of the unique things that we've done, obviously we've got the big red cone because the Terminator, we have to be flashy. But a lot of them, you'll notice that we've got the recessed point source tweeter. This is an acoustical element that we've designed into the speakers by bringing the voice coil of the tweeter more in line with that of the mid-range. It produces a more on-axis cohesive response from both drivers, so you're not getting that potential separation in your output, which, if you're familiar enough with it, can cause some cancellation, can cause some weird sound wave interactions within the vehicle. So it actually makes the speaker sound that much better overall acoustically, and it's a great driver whether you're doing an OEM upgrade or just doing a replacement.
Yeah, and again, from the installer standpoint, you don't have a big tweeter sticking up higher than the speaker itself. So if you're running a real low profile grill, you don't have to worry about your tweeter protruding through it.
Yeah, or if you've got a door panel that fits really tight against the speaker, you don't have to worry about it laying on top of it or anything like that. And then kind of rounding out the speaker family, we kind of literally go to the extreme with Road Thunder Extreme. This is our
Pro style.
Pro style, not sound quality, but sound quantity speaker. We've got tweeters, 3-inch tweeters. We've got 6.5-inch mid, 8-inch mid, 10-inch mid. We even have 12-inch mid-range drivers that are designed to handle high power. They produce high output. These are those systems that guys put 50 speakers in a vehicle,
and the
and they
doors,
want to be
crazy.
able to be heard, blocks away. We see these used a lot in different urban environments, New York City, Miami, some in LA. We've got a lot of guys that have a lot of success with them. Obviously, the whole pro audio style speaker movement, I guess, in the United States really kind of stemmed from a lot of what we were seeing in Central and South America. You can see some crazy builds of things that people have done where they've got semi-trailers basically loaded down.
They're transformers.
Yeah, basically they just flip open. They've got whole beds of trucks loaded down with these speakers because, again, they're building the vehicle to basically be a giant party on wheels.
Yeah, block party.
So, and then, yeah, that's kind of the bulk of the family. So
it is. I mean, there's a lot of models inside the Thunder and a lot of models inside the Jackhammer and the Mud, but this is giving you a basic overview of the standard line right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, of course, we have our accessories. We've got a variety of interconnects and accessories that are available for you guys to be able to do your job and interconnect. And yeah, that's kind of the family of products at this point. So I don't know.
Are you there, guys?
Ben? Hi, Ben. Thank you. I think.
Absolutely, we're here. Don't worry. We're just taking notes, guys. Thank you for the presentation. I've got a couple notes, but of course, we're going to save that for a little bit later on. Okay. We're going to come back and be able to dissect some of these products that you talked about. I think there's a couple that are worthy of more emphasis because a couple of notes that I've taken down. But I'll tell you what, we'll take a break. We have a special guest coming up, and the special guest is a brand ambassador for MTX with a special mission that you're going to learn about. We have a video that'll kind of give him or give you, the viewers, a preview of who the special guest is. And when we come back from the video, we're going to have him in studio with us. So don't you dare go away.
Hi, my name's Shane Andrews. I'm the owner of the 2012 Nissan Frontier. The Frontier was originally owned by my brother-in-law. I inherited it from him after his passing. Back in 2017, I built the truck probably about 4 years ago, and my sister went with me to the show, Battle in Bama, and decided that she wanted to redo the truck more for a tribute for my dad and brother-in-law, who have both passed and were in the Navy.
Hi, my name is Shannon Andrews. We decided to build this show truck Anchors Away in tribute to my husband, Rick Baker, who passed away February 20th of 2017, and also my dad, Jeff Andrews, who passed away almost a year to the date after my husband on February the 11th, 2018. We just wanted to, with this truck, pay tribute to them. They served, both of them, 20 plus years in the U.S. Navy. Absolutely loved serving this country and all that it represents. So we came up with the name Anchors Away. My mom actually came up with that name when we were down at Battle in the Bama. I'm not even sure how she came up with the name, but it is so fitting. It's the perfect name for this tribute truck.
So our special guest today has obviously put a lot of heart and soul into this project, a tribute no less, but also in a format that brings smiles and obviously from some of that footage, makes people happy and have a fun time while really sending a message that is deep, that is heartfelt, but also such incredible detail, especially in the art and all about it. His name is Andrews, and he is an MTX brand ambassador. Let's welcome him to the studio. What's going on, Shane?
Hey, how's it going?
First of all, thank you so much for putting this together and making the time to join us today. I got a couple of questions. Want to get to know you a little bit better. So, of course, out of the gate, can you tell us your story behind this tribute build, this Nissan, and the connection to X, really?
So, back in 2017, my brother-in-law, he had come back home from Afghanistan, just got back home from Afghanistan, was back maybe a year or so, and he got blown up in a Humvee while he was over in Afghanistan and ended up having seizures when he came back home and was driving, didn't know that he was having seizures, and ended up passing away in a car accident. So the truck was bone stock. I asked my sister what she was going to do with it because my nephew was getting ready to start driving at the time. And he was, I believe, 15, getting ready to turn 16. He had just had his learner's permit. So I told her I would trade for my Charger for his truck because I wanted to do something. I wanted to keep it and build it in case maybe his son or anybody in the family wanted to hold on to it, 10, 20 years down the road. So that's what I did was I built it, and I built it. This is, I think, the third go around on building it. And then my sister kind of came to the Battle Bama show for the second debut, and she was like, we really need to redo it. We need to make it more of a military theme for my husband, for, Dad. So that's when we decided to redo it. My mom ended up coming up with the name of the truck, Anchors Away. So that's how the truck became what it is today. We got a hold of the airbrush artist by the name of Mickey Harris, told him our story and what we wanted to do to the truck and everything. So the whole truck, what it does is it tells the history of the Navy from the start to where we are to now in the Navy with the Navy SEALs and everything. So if you walk around the truck, that's the painting, is the whole history of the Navy. And then on the hood, when the hood opens up, that's a picture of my dad and my brother-in-law, who, like I said, have both have passed, and it was in memory of them. And we just wanted to run wild and crazy with the truck and everything, and I wanted to put a phenomenal sound system in there. So I got in touch with MTX and told them why I was building the truck, explaining to them the story, wanted to see if they wanted to come on board and be a part of the build and everything. And that's how I ended up meeting Rico, and we decided that we were just going to go all out with it. We got 6 speakers in the dash, we got 4 tweeters, and then we got 4 15s in the back, followed by 3 amps. It's just insane. I mean, the sound quality, just everything about it is, I can't, it's just amazing. And to see
Shane,
the smiles
listen,
it puts on the face.
The story is incredible, first of all, and the fact that you've gone out of your way and put so much time and passion and effort into building such a vehicle is amazing. I definitely, wanted to highlight the quality of that airbrush. In fact, just as a backstory for those tuning in, I had to ask Shane when I first met him, was that a wrap or a printed wrap? Was that actually airbrushed on the vehicle itself? And it turns out that is completely done by hand by said artist, airbrushed. It's so amazing, the artistry behind that. You started getting into the system design. Tell us a little bit about what you want to achieve. Was it more of just like wow and do hair tricks, or did you want to, was there some type of design strategy when it came to the sound system design?
We wanted to have a little bit of both, because the younger generation, that's what they like. They like that, the kids like to get in there. They like to hear the sound. They liked, and then they like to feel the bass. So we wanted to have a little bit of both. We did the steering wheel. We set it up as kind of like a cockpit of an airplane with a Grumman airplane. So I wanted to be able, if I wanted to play like airplane music, it would sound literally like an airplane was taking off. So we wanted a little bit of both. And then with the younger military and everything, that's what they like. They like to hear the bass. They like to feel it vibrate in the clothes. They like to feel it in their hair and everything. So we also wanted that too. So we wanted a little bit of everything. We wanted the bass, but we also wanted the crisp, clear sound to it too. So you could hear the words and everything. We could play our video, and people could hear the backstory behind the truck. So we wanted a little bit of everything.
Very good. And now that you've played it in so many different circumstances to so many different people from different walks of life, why would you recommend MTX to others might be building a tribute or any other type of project vehicle?
I would recommend MTX because they care about the quality and the merchandise. They are easy to work with. Their pricing is right on point. I mean, they're about the people. Most other stereo people, all they care about is the dollar sign. That's all they see is the big picture. MTX listens to the feedback of the people and their quality. Like I said, I've been running them since 1995, 93-ish era, since I was in high school. Never once have I had an issue with them. Never once. And I will stick by them. And here I am, 2020? And I'm still 2022, and I'm still running them. Never had an issue with them. Just the quality. They built them back then, and I mean, you look at them today, they're still standing. I would recommend them to anybody. And when I played them downtown in New York this week at Fleet Week, one of the guys was saying he was going to go to a competitor, but he said once he got into my truck and heard it, he said absolutely not. I'm going to MTX definitely after I heard your stereo, just because of the sound quality. And
very nice. Very cool. Well, that's a great testimonial if I've ever heard one. Thank you for that, Shane. Last but not least, before I let you go, I got to ask, is this the beginning, or do you have other plans, other vehicles? Is there a phase 2, 3, 4 to this current project? What does the future have in store?
There's going to be more to come. We're going to do some more work underneath the frame right now. Right now it's painted. It's like got glow in the dark on the 4-lane, glow on the dark, and the rear end, glow in the dark on all the front suspension components. So I think what we're going to do is pull it apart. We're going to go ahead and paint the frame a red color. Then we're going to do all the 4-length in blue, and then we're going to airbrush stars all over the frame. Give it that more American feel than the underglow. We just want to touch up little things here and there. In the car world, you're never really done. As soon as you think you're done, you go to another show and you see something else and you're like, well, why didn't I think of that? It's never done. It's just there's always something more that you can do with it. Just always.
Imagine, Shane, when all of a sudden MTX has to come up with a new series and subs and speakers and amps. What are you going to do then? Oh, I guess you're going to have to redo the system again.
That's it. Going to have to upgrade.
Sounds good. Well, Mr. Shane, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today and sharing your story. It's brilliant, very inspiring. I wish you the best of luck in continuing to build and sharing that passion with more people and that message everywhere you go. So thank you so much.
I appreciate it.
Take care, Shane.
All right, thanks.
That was, Shane Andrews, great mission, beautiful artwork, just a great message overall, and really cool that MTX supports guys like Shane. So good job, guys. At this time, we're going to bring back our friends from MTX. On that note, along with our friends at Trends, Mr. Grant, Jason, Rico. I'll give you a chance to comment. Grant, maybe you seeing that for the first time. What was your impressions of Shane's project?
I've seen some pictures of it and little videos here and there. I haven't seen the whole backstory. That video is pretty cool tribute to excuse me while I die over here.
Take your time.
Pretty cool tribute. I'm getting choked up. No, pretty cool tribute to his family members that have passed away, that served. I mean, the artwork on there is spectacular. Like when we first saw that video, I was like, wow, the front, the hood of the car with the portraits of his family members on there. Just all the artwork's fantastic. The sound quality of that system, obviously it's going to be loud with 4 15-inch 75 series woofers in there, but complementing with all the speakers in the dash. It's not just a one-trick pony. It's loud, sure, and it sounds great. So awesome build, really cool. Dude, I love the truck. I like the ammo coming out of the hood, and I don't know what I don't know if I didn't see the piece in the middle. It looks like probably a
what is that?
Gun or something.
Oh, in the bed of the truck. Yeah. So basically, what they did is the battery boxes they wrapped in ammo link. That's the two basically squares that you see. But then the doors that open up in the middle are meant to simulate like a bomb bay. So what the fabricators did is they took an air cylinder and turned it into like a dive bomber bomb. So basically, as those doors open up, then the bomb lifts up and out of it to display. So, great. I only get 2 minutes to create videos for Ben. That the tribute video that he has is well over 6 minutes long, and it talks about the airbrushing and it actually shows a lot more about the truck than what I had time to be able to kind of slim it down to. But Shane. Shane is one of those guys. When he reached out to me initially, being a veteran myself, I kind of have a soft spot in my heart for a lot of these guys. And we do a lot of work with different veterans organizations, and individuals like Shane who are really just trying to not only just create obviously a very special tribute to his family members, but also show the support for the military, because obviously they've got a hard job. To some degree.
Yeah, absolutely. I just wanted, before we move on, because I do want to circle back to a couple of products. Topic of Shane, Command MTX. It's easy for car audio companies to sponsor big competitors and big flashy builds, SEMA cars and all that type of stuff. But to take the time to kind of support these type of projects as well, I think goes a long way for the type of brand that you guys are. So kudos for you for that. If you don't mind, let's circle back real quick. I think one of the products I think needs a little bit more emphasis on that fits the bill for a lot of people right now. Everybody wants multi-channel amplifiers, but more specifically 5-channel amplifiers. And I noticed that in the Jackhammer series, that's a sexy looking 5-channel amp with a lot of power output. And I think that deserves a little bit more. I don't know. We should speak to it a little bit more, because within that lineup, I think that's something that dealers would do really well with. Grant, I'd like to hear your opinion on that.
Stop shop.
It's one of our best sellers in the Jackhammer line. We sell lots of monoblocks, but that 5-channel is your one-trick pony. It does your entire vehicle, front, rear, subwoofer, or mid-range tweeter subwoofer system. It's no slouch on the subwoofer channel. It's 500 watts on the back end, and then 75/4 in the front and back channel. So plenty of power. And again, the dollar you buy that thing for is tremendous value. I think you're under $800 Canadian for that thing. So it's not an expensive amplifier, and you get a lot of power with it.
Did you have one handy to show as far as the Jackhammer?
I don't have the 5-channel. I have the 500 watt monoblock, which looks
right.
The
it was
same,
just to show the
larger.
Aesthetics of it.
Yeah, so it's nice top mounted controls. You've got the accent LEDs on the top here, and then all your end panel terminations for your RCAs and power and ground. But it's just a good looking amplifier, other than my fingerprints have been all over it this morning. But it's a great looking amplifier, and like bang for the buck is awesome. The other thing that's really cool that Rico mentioned was all the Jackhammer monoblocks or the 5-channel come with the EBC, the external bass controller.
Right.
You can take this thing apart if you want to flush mount it, but a lot of amps, you got to pay an extra $40-50 for this thing. It's included in the box. So
the other thing I wanted to highlight to go with said Jackhammer amplifiers, the subwoofers from MTX are no slouch. They're quite beefy, and for the value of the price that they're asking for them, I think they represent a very interesting proposition for dealers. So there you go. So what series is that one? Let's talk about the
morning workout in.
Well, we now have enclosures for them too.
Yeah, so this is one of the 75 series 12s. They come in 12s and 15s. They're a dual 2 ohm or a dual 4 ohm impedance on these. But yeah, this is your beefy cast basket subwoofer, tons of power handling, 750 watts RMS. One of the cool things about this, if you look on the back plate there where the MTX logo is, a lot of subwoofers, you've got a vented pole piece there. Not the case for this, because they've got the cooling on the top side and the bottom side of the spider on these. But this allows you to put this basically flat on the back on the box, so that you can make your enclosure a lot smaller. This can be mounted right to the bottom of your enclosure. A lot of other subs that are vented pole piece, you can't do that. So pretty damn cool. I like the square one too. It's one of the coolest woofers. The S65 series, like they were talking about with their patent on the surround. And if we get a close up of that, you can see the custom surround in there to allow for the excursion on the woofer. But that's a great sounding subwoofer, and bang for the buck again. For a 10-inch woofer or a 12-inch sub, this is going to give you way more output than anyone's competitive product.
Rico
really cool
and Jay,
product.
would you like to comment on these last two products that I really want to kind of focus on a little bit more or revisit?
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things, like Grant was mentioning, the 75 series, some of the unique elements that are built into it, obviously, as he said, it is a sealed back. It does not have the vented pole piece, but to help with thermal transfer, heat reduction, we do have the increased mass bump backplate. So we do have a lot of thermal mass there to help dissipate and draw the heat away from the voice coil, as well as obviously spider plateau venting, which is a technological element that we have used for 20 plus years in our woofer design to try and obviously vent that hot air from around the voice coil. As we know, one of the most dangerous things to a subwoofer especially is an overheated voice coil, because once it starts heating up, starts delaminating, starts burning up, and we want to get that heat away from the voice coil as efficiently as possible. Another cool element of a lot of our series woofers outside the 65 is our asymmetrical, our surround. So our surround, when you look at it, is different than most regular half roll or half round surrounds. It's almost like it's a double surround. When you look at this, it's kind of likens, for people that are familiar with pro audio and the corrugated surrounds. It provides as much, if not more, excursion than a typical half round surround, but it also maintains a better overall control on the cone of the woofer. So obviously, you don't want your woofer cone under high power applications getting out of center, get that voice coil a little out of center, and then potentially causing damage. So we put a lot of design elements into the woofers for them to be able to handle power, produce SPL, produce sound quality bass, and have the longevity that people want, especially when you're spending your hard-earned money in today's market on your entertainment in your vehicle. You don't want these things falling apart.
Yeah, and those two technologies, the spider plateau venting and the surround application, carry through our whole line all the way down to the 35s. So it's not like the lower level didn't get the good parts. They go all the way down through the line. The only one that's obviously different is the square. What do you got there, Grant? 35?
That's the shallow. That's the 35-12-02 shallow.
So
04 shallow, sorry.
Uses the same surround technology.
Yeah, these sound awesome, man. Like for a shallow woofer, they don't sound like a shallow subwoofer. I've heard some other brand shallow series subwoofers, and it sounds like there's something missing. These play low, they play loud. Yeah. You've got plenty of power handling on them. You got 250 watts RMS on these.
So I mean,
you can give them some jam.
That shallow sub right there kind of segues me to my next message that or point that I think I've captured from this session. It checks off a lot of boxes as a brand, right? You've got shallow subs, you've got intermediate subs, you've got high power SPL subs, you've got something different in the square sub. Then you've got the different, there's your more entry level style sub.
Your Terminator, right? That's your
Terminator brand. It's got a brand that people recognize, right?
Yeah.
Let's see the back of that, Grant, real quick. There you go. Yeah, there you go. And all the different, OE. Let's talk about the OE replacement stuff. I mean, there's a lot of solutions there for dealers to have in stock to quickly be able to replace OE style speakers. Is there not, Rico?
Yeah, absolutely. As we mentioned earlier, the Terminator family of speakers, the coaxial speakers, are a great option for a dealer that has a customer that wants to either upgrade or replace their factory speakers, whether they're blown or they just want a better overall sound out of the existing ones. They fit, 99% of the stock OEM locations, mounting bolt patterns and so forth. Low profile tweeters, as I said, with the point source tweeter design, with that recessed tweeter design, it not only gives you better mounting options from the front, because you don't have that big post-mounted tweeter sticking out potentially above the cone of the mid, but also from a sonic quality and clarity, you get an overall improved performance and sound out of it compared to your more, I guess, standard post-mounted tweeters.
These get overlooked. These get overlooked because they're priced really, really inexpensive. Like these are $100 retail in Canada. Like this is a silk dome tweeter. It's not a mylar dome tweeter like you get in everyone else's brand at that kind of price point. You put an amplifier of 50, 60 watts RMS, and these things sound incredible. I put them up against other guys' $200 speaker, but these get overlooked a little bit because they are so inexpensive. But they're awesome solution for shallow depth. You're about a ½ inch shallower on this speaker than you are over a competitor product in this this category.
Mhm.
I think they just get overlooked a little bit because of the pricing on it. But they are a phenomenal sounding speaker for the money. Like I said, I'll put this up against someone's $200 speaker, no problem.
On that note, Grant, you mentioned pricing. There's no doubt about it. There is a great value, a tremendous value to the entire line, especially like the coaxes that you're showing there. But I think an important message here is I don't believe the price has increased due to, the recent state of affairs. Has it?
Not yet. I'm waiting for it, but the guys at MyTech they haven't done any increases for the last 2 years, where a lot of other people, especially this year and earlier or later last year, had some pretty significant price increases, and that's not because of the product costs. That's a lot to do with freight costs, as we've talked over several episodes, right? So these guys have bitten the bullet on, a lot of the freight costs. Containers went from $2,500 to 20 grand. And that's easy to just turn around and jack the prices up. But,
I know John doesn't want to do that.
Mr. Ivy and not just stroking a mark and say, okay, we have a 30% price increase. Let's go. So I'm waiting for it. It's coming. I mean, the reality is it's got to come because someone's got to pay for that freight.
Well, I think Jason just there mentioned John, and Rico at the top of the show mentioned a vision that John had. I want to kind of close out this session here. We've gone through the whole current lineup, some great products within a little bit about where it's headed. I'll give you the final word here, Rico, to kind of give our dealers or our listeners a preview of what to maybe expect over the course of the next 6 months, years, 5 years.
Yeah, obviously, as much as I'd love to give you all the little tidbits possible, there are obviously some things we can't talk about. But bottom line, one, we do have new product in development. John, as I said, is very committed to bringing this brand back to the forefront of the marketplace. That means investment in engineers, product development guys, obviously from a marketing standpoint. So we're doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes to try and boost the brand up. But without the products, obviously, you don't have the products, you don't have a brand. That being said, we are currently working on some new woofers, as well as some amplifier designs. We've got a number of things in the pipeline over the next few years that I know everybody's going to want all the information on. But they're still kind of in their infancy stage. Can't say the word. So it's hard for me to give you a lot of details, but suffice it to say, speakers, amplifiers, subwoofers across the board. We currently have projects in play, some a little more advanced than others. In fact, we're hoping to have some stuff ready to show by SEMA this year. So SEMA obviously has kind of become the new CES of the 12-volt world anymore. And that show this year for us, we're hoping is going to be big, not only on obviously other segments of the market for us, but in the 12-volt world. If not showing, we're definitely going to potentially have some good announcements for our dealers, both domestic and Canadian, that I think you guys are going to be excited to hear. So
yeah, and if any of you guys are coming, we have a massive presence there, a booth inside and a large 80 by 30 booth outside. So that tells you we've got something to show.
Yeah. So and the other cool
very
thing
exciting
is,
stuff. I know I'll be there.
The other cool thing is, yeah. Well, the other cool thing is, I just want to throw this out there for anybody who is really interested in Shane's truck. We are planning. He will be in the booth, and his truck will be on display. So if you want to have that ability to be able to see all the detail in the airbrush artwork, I guarantee you'll want to be there, be able to take all the pictures you can. So
amazing. On that note, gentlemen, thank you for that insight. Thank you for your insights today and presenting to us the entire line. And we look forward to having you again, both Jason and Rico. Take care.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Have a good one.
Grant, I think we've done the entire round. We had a great guest come on, give us some insight, a little bit of entertainment and some inspiration, if not at all anything else. But I think that the clear message is here. Right now, it's a line that has an incredible history, pedigree, a recognizable brand. It has a great offering from with a great price point in as far as value. It checks off all the boxes. The price hasn't increased. So what would be your last message to dealers?
We showed a lot of product, and I just want to touch on one of the things that Rico said at the end was, a lot of the times we in the industry get caught up on the latest and greatest. And you know what? This amplifier that's 4 years old is the latest and greatest to the consumer. He's looking for an amplifier and he wants good value. It doesn't have to be the new shiniest object off the production line, right? We have great products across the entire line. A lot of these products will stand up against anyone's brand new product, and it's been out for 3 years on the market. So I've seen a lot of products that are mimicking like what's in the 35 and 55 series woofers that we've had for a number of years, right? So they're coming out raving as their newest technology. It's taken a brand like MTX and they've done their best imitation of it.
For more information, if you want to find out what's going on from the MTX camp, I want to check out their official website at mtx.com. You're going to find all the latest, also more importantly, all the latest announcements that they were referring to. And if you're a dealer in Canada and you're like, you know what, I'm going to get me some MTX, go ahead and give Grant and his team a call over at trendsinc.com and they'll set you all up. Grant, that was a good one, man. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, Ben. See you, bud.
Take care now. This far, and I definitely want to remind you as well to hear what I'm about to say next. We have an ongoing contest. I'm talking to you guys, the dealers, courtesy of 5-Axis Innovations. They are giving away a customized, interactive sound damping display that they're going to build just for you, that they can brand to your shop and use the sound damping material of your choice. How do you do this? Well, you're going to head over to our CMA Network's Facebook page and find the post about the contest. You're going to like the 5-Axis Innovations Facebook page. You're going to like our page, and you're going to put in the comments below your shop name and where you're located. We are doing the draw on our very next roundtable next Wednesday, June 8th. You don't want to miss it. Make sure your shop participates. Also, please continue tuning in to CMA Networks as we are still deep into the we are audio right through to all exciting brands as we go one a day, every day. Car audio, it's what we love. It's what we're doing. Okay, lastly, want to remind you to visit our website, cmanetworks.com. Great content, tons of videos to choose category by brand or even your favorite trainer. Hit up my man Rico Felice as he has his own profile on there and a catalog of all the videos that we have produced together. That's it. Thanks for tuning in to this CMA Connected presented by SiriusXM. I'm your host, Ben Wu. Until next time, we connect.
Stop it. Yo, roll it down. I am.
You don't need a car to listen to Series XM. You can listen anywhere. You know that, right?
What? Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Radio.
Kevin, you could use your phone.
What? What?
Alexa, play Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Radio on Sirius XM.
What?
This is how I know you're getting old. I guess that was it.
What?